Good morning. You're probably thinking I've got some kind of backdrop behind me that shows the sun constantly shining here, but this is real weather in Scotland. Um, Putting. Um, I said we would explore putting, and we're really exploring it in exactly the same manner as we've explored everything else. We want to get better at using the tool, and if we're going to do that, we need to be paying attention to what it's doing. We need to develop feel for what it's doing. We need to and explore drawing and fading putts, explore different strokes, ultimately to discover if we can influence the ball in the way that we need, which are, in the main and putting is going to be, can we direct it and can we influence the distance? If we can do those two things, we've got a good start point there for putting well. And I know people will think, why would you ever consider drawing and fading putts? Well, it's something that's very commonplace, even at the highest level of the game. Sevi talked about it a lot. And I was very fortunate for a couple of years to work with Paul McGinley, and it was just after he had holed the putt to win the Ryder Cup at the Belfry. And if you go online, you can actually catch a little video where he describes this. But he and I spoke about this a lot, and he had about a 12-foot putt against Jim Furyk to win the Ryder Cup. And he was so in tune with what he was doing with the putter. He had so much feel for the putter that he drew that putt into the hole. That's what he says. He drew that putt into the hole. He delivered the putter to draw spin the ball into the hole. Now, we know it didn't bend. We know it didn't even spin in kind of any other axis pretty well than the one it would normally spin when it's in contact with grass, which is just forward, straight forward. But that was his feeling. And the way the putter was delivered was draw spin delivery. And imagine doing that under that kind of pressure when the whole of Europe is willing you to hold that putt. Incredible, that ability to stay in that moment with that feel. So you need to go and explore this, because if we're going to find an effective neutral stroke, whatever your neutral straight stroke is, that can direct the ball where you want it to go, we need to explore. And you might then discover that, wow, what I feel is my cut spin stroke is actually delivering the putter nicely and online, and it feels good. So we might again discover something from exploring stuff that would seem quite left field. So I'm going to go and create a practical in the house and send this in a separate video, because it's wooden floors all in our house apart from the landing upstairs. So I'm going to go up there and do a little practical on it, just show you. So when we have that ability to explore with the putter and hopefully start to influence the ball more effectively, it then comes down to green reading, which is an art in itself, but it's really an experiential learning process, just like everything else. And Fred Shoemaker, who was somebody who's had the biggest influence probably in my coaching life, wrote a great book called Extraordinary Golf. Said, if you want to get better at reading putts, stay awake. And what Fred meant by that was, when we hit the putts, too often people turn away in disgust because it's been hit to the right or left, pushed, pulled, hit too hard, too soft, or whatever, and spend very little time, irrespective of what the outcome is going to be, just observing the ball as it rolls, because that is an opportunity to learn. You're going to get feedback as to whatever the ball does. It's giving you information that you can retain and your brain can use for future experiences. So watch the ball non-judgmentally. You know that's very, very challenging, and gather up that information in your brain. It'll be logged. You don't need to think about that. It just will be logged. But notice if it breaks, where it breaks, how much it breaks, what it does after it goes past the hole, whatever. That is real gold dust. Whatever method people are using to read putts, it primarily has to come through our senses, whether it's feet or eyes or whatever. But we need to, if we can, observe when we've hit the ball. We need to observe what in reality did the ball do, because that is going to be logged for future putting experiences that are similar to the one that we've just seen there. So that's really important. So I will go and do my little practical, and I will send that to you. I'll also send you a little video of myself working with a very good amateur at St Andrews a few years ago, when we over a 15-foot putt, we brought the reed to life by literally chalking a line, the width of the hole, all the way from the ball into the hole. He decided on the reed, and I just chalked it. I don't know if the greenkeepers were too happy or not, but I just created this chalk line. And a couple of things, it brought the task to life. So a bit like the nail and the hammer, I didn't need to visualize anything because it was there in front of me, or for him. And he made a comment once he saw this wide 4 inch plus line all the way down towards the hole that he had chosen. He said, oh, anybody could hit it down there. So the task had seemed to become quite simple. There was no doubt. And he duly hit it down the line. And as you'll see, it kind of fell in the hole in its last roll. So bringing reeds to life like that to me would be very, very, very powerful. And it doesn't need to be exact. In fact, it's far better that it's not. Ballpark is a great concept to keep in mind for all of golf, and not perfection. So we want to keep that in mind. So I'll go and make the other video, send it off to you. Hopefully find my little St Andrews video, get that down, and thank you to everybody who responded to my offer of coaching. I'm looking forward to working with you guys over the next wee while. Okay, so good luck with exploring your putting. I'll speak to you soon.